Right, I thought we could celebrate the new contract.
All right, Corey, how's Becca?
She's all right. She's all right. You want to splash?
You know, I write suspense novels, so I know about these things, but okay, whatever. Thanks for getting me that deal. I mean, it's a pretty amazing deal.
It sure is. It's going to be great for you. You're going to love it.
I don't know. I don't know if we should be celebrating this. I mean, the woman's injured, and this is why I'm finishing her series. It just doesn't feel right, all the terrible things that have happened.
Don't focus on how you play the game. Just focus on the finish line. Congratulations. All right. Well, I mean, that eviction notice out there says you have 2 days. I mean, it doesn't look like you've started packing. Have you found a place to live?
I mean, I have a storage unit, so I'll get there. And I put an application for a place in Brooklyn, but they don't have anything for 2 weeks, so.
We're going to stay at a hotel?
Actually, I'm going to leave Sunday for Verity's place because Jeremy said that I could come and, you know, spend some time there and go through all of her notes because there's a lot to go through.
Well, you're staying at their house?
Well, how else am I supposed to get all these notes?
Have them mail it to you.
It's like over a decade's worth of material. He wouldn't know where to begin.
I really don't think that you should be spending time at this person's house. Have you read up on them?
I mean, I know that some bad stuff has happened. I looked into it, and, you know, his daughters are dead, and the wife had this terrible accident, but they're all unrelated accidents.
Do you really think you should be staying there, though?
Are you thinking he had something to do with this?
I mean, you write the suspense novels. I'm just saying.
Listen, I'm not yours to worry about anymore. That's been long gone. I can take care of myself. I'm the writer here. I'm the researcher. I'll be fine.
Hi, everybody. I'm Joe.
And I'm Mary.
And we're Book Buds.
And today we're talking about Verity by Colleen Hoover. Tell us about it.
Okay, this is such an exciting book.
Mm-hmm.
This was highly recommended by a few people. People loved it. And apparently, this author is like a romance writer, and this is her first deviation from that genre. This was like very suspenseful.
She deviated, but there was definitely some romance in here as well.
Romance? Dude, so can we talk about that? So
wait. So we just want to give you guys like a quick overview, and we are absolutely going to get into spoilers with this. So if you haven't read it yet, we'll let you know when we get into that. But do you want to tell a little bit more about the story before you're like, let's talk about the sex?
Yeah, we got to talk about the sex. So the synopsis of the book. An author is commissioned to finish a very well-known author's series because that author had some sort of an accident and she's unable to work right now.
Right.
So the husband is like, you know, hiring her to do this and invites her into their home to go into the home office where she works to like sift through the year's worth of notes on these like characters and these upcoming novels to try to form an outline.
Right, because he can't make heads or tails of what that stuff is, and it just makes sense. Come into my home.
Right.
Yes.
And the family suffered some like tragic losses recently, and the woman who, and the writer who's like sick, she's like up in the bed in the wheelchair, like.
Yes. So you're, you know, disabled author that you're finishing her series. She's in the other room, just like, you know, in this vegetative state, but. You know, you're there looking through her things, getting ready to write her book. Creepy. Just creepy. Yeah. Okay, so we do want to get into the spoiler discussion. Joe and I, we both read this book and we have not yet processed it with each other. We saved it for camera. So you read this book first. Yes. And I don't typically read these kind of novels, but he was like, Mary, please read this for me. And I'm like, okay, like if it's that good, I'll read it for sure.
Yeah, I needed you to read it.
Yeah.
I needed you to read it.
Yeah.
Okay.
You want to talk about the sex first?
Yeah, so I just wasn't prepared. I just was not prepared. And I am by no means a prude or like, you know, I'm fine with sex and watching, reading, whatever. But this, like, it was to the point where I was just like, I felt self-conscious recommending it to certain people.
Really?
Because like, depending on who they were, I'm like, oh my God, I can't tell her to read this book because it's like, so like graphic, like it's graphic.
I wouldn't recommend it to my mom or my daughter, but
well, so you wouldn't recommend it to your mother?
No.
Because of that?
Yeah.
Okay,
but like, so the sex that happens in this book, first of all, there's a bug on the book. First of all, the girl, what's her name? Lowen, who is going to be writing these stories, she's reading stuff that Verity has written. Okay, so she's discovering these things, and she's reading about Verity's sex life with her husband Jeremy, who Lowen is in the house with, and she's admired his physical structure, and she's reading about Verity's take on his body, and she's like, yep, I agree, right? It's very graphic in her description of her experience with her husband, right? And so then Lowen ends up doing some very serious things with him as well, right? So like, what was like too much for you though? Because like, I've read plenty of things that have stuff like this in it.
See, I haven't.
Yeah. I
was just surprised. It was just, I guess it was just like the language that they used. Like it was like, like two friends like talking. Like it was like really.
It was hot.
Into it. I was like, whoa, okay, we're gonna say that. All right, cool.
Yeah.
You know, I was just like, oh my god.
Okay. I mean, I wasn't surprised by the type of language, and it makes sense if she was a romance novel author prior, so that makes sense. Yeah. Yeah. So it added some fun to
good
the
scenes.
Suspense. Yeah.
Good scenes, yeah.
For sure.
Yeah.
All right, so now that we got the sex out of the way.
Sex is done. It's always good to get the sex out of the way first, you know? Just go for it.
Maybe you want to come back to it later. But... Okay, so the story itself.
Dude, this was crazy. This was such a crazy book.
It really was. So
can we get into it?
Yes.
Because I need to talk about it.
Tell me where you want to start. Because I want to start at the end.
Okay,
but it's like wrong to start at the end.
Yeah. So. Okay, so yeah, I know that ending was. It's that ending for me.
I know. Should we just go right to the ending then?
Well, how would you phrase it at this point? Go ahead.
No, we're ready to spoil. We're spoiling already. We said that.
Okay, so go ahead and then we'll talk.
So I hope you guys have read this book already, and you're just here to like be like, yeah. Okay, so at the end of this book, she's gone, and she's been going through all this stuff that she's reading that Verity has written before about her relationship with her husband Jeremy, and you think it's real. I mean, maybe it is real. We don't know at the end of the book if it's real or not.
Right. We think it's like her autobiography.
We think it's an autobiography, and so like we get to the point where we're thinking that, oh my God, Verity killed her second daughter. Like the first daughter's death was accidental, but she like was happy about it, and then so she killed the second daughter, and it's like, oh my God. And so then you like, I don't even know where to go.
There's a lot.
It is a lot, because then you have the other component of like, well, Verity, she's not actually like incapacitated. She like is getting up out of bed, and like you see her pop out and whatever else, and you're thinking like, oh my God, she's faking this whole thing, right? Yeah. And she's like, why I don't know, why is she faking this whole thing, and why is she still in the house, and who's she gonna kill next, right? But then like the end I mean, I don't know, there's so much to say. I feel so disorganized. The end when he kills her.
Yeah.
The husband kills Verity in front of Lowen with Lowen's consent. She's like, yeah, you got to make it look like an accident. She's got to die. Yeah. Right? Because like Lowen thinks that she's just told Jeremy, she killed your second daughter. She did it. And so he's enraged, and he's now on top of Verity trying to kill her, right? And so as the reader, you think, oh, everybody's just discovered that she's this murderer, right? Yeah. And so
she deserves it, kill her.
Lowen's like, make it look like an accident. And that she says, like, she like gets him, I don't know if she says it or like gets him to think of what happened in the book when Verity tried to kill her first infant, and she stuck her fingers down her throat to make her vomit and choke on the vomit, and was hoping that she would die from choking on the vomit. But then somebody came in and she stopped trying to kill this baby. And so Lowen and Jeremy have this moment where they're like, yeah, that's how she's got to go. And it's just so intense. You're like, shit, they just decided how this woman's gonna die. Like, she tried to kill this baby, and he sticks his fingers down her throat, and she's gagging and vomiting, and this is how he kills her. He kills his wife with his new lover in the room, and they think the wife's the murderer, and you're like, oh my God, oh my God, oh my God. Yeah. Really crazy. But then at the very end of the book, Lowen's pregnant with his baby and all this stuff. They're moving out of the house, and she discovers in the floorboards.
Always in the floorboards. A letter.
that Verity had written that was like, honey, or whoever, it was like, I'm not sure who's going to find this letter. I wrote that autobiography because I was trying out a new writing style. And, you know, I figured I'd take myself and do like the opposite of what my real person would do. And it wasn't a real autobiography. That was like this writing technique.
That to me was crazy.
And
how she was like writing from the villain's point of view to get into that villainous character. Some workshop she went to, they told her, you need to like write about your life from the villain's perspective and make it the complete opposite.
Right. So then you're like, oh my God, she never killed this kid. Oh my God, she never thought these negative things about her husband. Oh my God,
it was a freaking exercise.
And why was she acting
that they found and read?
Right. And they thought it was real. And so then, like, why was she in her home acting like she was a vegetable? Because she was scared for her life, because Jeremy had tried to kill her once before. And it's like, Jeremy tried to what once before? Jeremy knew about this autobiography already, and like, what? Like, he tried to kill her, and Lowen doesn't know this? But then, like, as the reader, you're left with, well, Verity's a really good author. And did you feel like after you read that letter, like, well, I don't know, was that letter true?
I think we're meant to believe. That's what I think.
No.
I think we're meant to believe that that's how it was, that she was writing that from that perspective. I do.
No, because
So you think there's a possibility that she covered that up?
Yes. I am left completely at the end of this book going like, well, I have no idea what reality is. And that's how Lowen's left, because she finds this letter and she's like, we screwed up and we killed an innocent woman. Do I tell my new husband, Jeremy, who I'm having a baby with, that we maybe screwed up and killed his lovely wife? And she's like, I'm just not going to tell him. And because she's like, well, I don't know if this letter's real, and I don't know if the autobiography is real, right? So I'm in Lowen's shoes agreeing with her of, I don't know which is real.
So usually the author leaves you with like a little bit of closure. So you're saying she left it open?
For me, for sure.
So then what are you to believe?
It's just like at the end of that other book that you didn't enjoy, the key one, the turn of the key, when we were like, well, I don't know. We had to like piece it together by discussing it.
Oh, in the jail, yeah.
Yeah, I feel like I'm left with, who knows what happened.
I think they killed her wrongly. It was just a writing exercise.
I hope they didn't.
And they murdered her.
No.
And this poor woman was holed up in her freaking house, pretending to be a vegetable with the sun. She was talking to the sun the whole time.
Right.
That was cool.
That
No,
was
wait.
messed up.
Another thing that I had to say is, so in reading this book and the excerpts from the autobiography, which were my favorite part, I couldn't wait to read those parts.
Yeah.
I found it to be so shocking the way that she was talking about. So she didn't want kids. Like, she hated kids.
Right.
And she just wanted to have a relationship with her husband, and she was jealous of her kids. She was jealous of the way that the husband felt towards the kids, his fatherly love. She wanted all his love for herself. And just like the way that she was talking about, like, wishing she was never pregnant, hating her kids, wanting to kill them, and like
it was alarming.
I was like,
yeah, this
is like very shocking.
Yeah, the hardest part for me to read was when she tried to kill her kid. I was like, no, that didn't sit well with me.
Like, I don't know if this is like a sexist comment, but like, I was like, a woman is writing this. Like, I was just very shocked at the whole thing. I was like, this is like, it was hard to read.
It was. Yeah.
So, I mean, it makes sense that it was a writing exercise and that she didn't
He's
really believe it.
He's more comfortable with that. Meanwhile, I'm like, this woman's dead. She should have died for a reason, and she died because she was really wicked, and she did kill one child. She tried to kill the other. Like, yeah.
Yeah. Wow.
No, I would like it to be that she really was evil. But I don't know. I'm completely left unaware. But why are you so certain?
Because that twist was just so good. That twist was so good. When I read it, that was a writing exercise. I was just like, I was probably like audibly like reacting, like verbally reacting, because it was just such a crazy twist. And people told me a twist was coming. I'm like, okay, I've read a million of these freaking books. Right. Okay, a twist, whatever. That blew me away. I was like, oh my God.
I don't know, but like, how do you really feel like she was creeping around the house because she was fearful of her life?
Yeah, she was plotting with the young son, and she was trying to get out of there because the husband's crazy.
Okay, but like, you get the heck out. Be a little bit more assertive there. Like, you're gonna go creep down and peek at Lowen over the banister and like skitter away.
Well, she had to play it safe because she has a young son and she needed to keep him safe, and she was probably planning an escape route.
You grab the keys, you grab the kid, and you get out of there. In the
Mary,
middle
it's
of the
not
night.
always that easy. It's not. There are other things at play.
I don't know. I think she was really bad.
That's a cool way to think of it.
But like, if she was really bad, how terrible. I mean, like, the daughter that she drowned, she purposely took them out in the boat and capsized it to leave this child who couldn't swim out in the middle of the water to die. Like,
oh my God. And we're not even talking about the most horrific part.
Which one was the most horrific part?
How the child got the scar on her cheek.
Oh yeah, where she tried to abort the babies, and she was like in there trying to abort and scraped up the babies, and they came out with a scar. One of them came out with a scar. Ugh.
Horrible.
I mean.
So if my way is like the way that the author intended it,
yeah, then
like, who's the villain? Because in that case, the father is just protecting his kids and, like, you know, reacting to that. Not that you don't just go around murdering people because they murdered somebody, but
he's also a lying, creepy guy then, because
he is.
In your situation, he's already read the autobiography.
Yeah.
He already knows that she's this murderer, and yet he's still like acting like he's gonna take care of her and whatever else. And I'm like, oof, that's a whole nother. I don't know. He's creepy. And you do, from the very beginning, you feel a little hesitant around him. Like, should we feel like he's creepy? I'm not really sure. What was his role in all these weird accidents and whatever else, you know? He seems like a good guy, but they always do, don't they?
They always do.
I don't know.
And then she comes into the house and pretty much sleeps with Verity's husband and moves on in there.
And she's like, I don't care. I'm young. I got nothing going on in my life.
Isn't she being evicted?
She's being evicted.
So now she has a place to live. She's got this hot guy to have sex with. She has this job that she's going to be paid a lot of money for. So she's kind of villainous.
She is.
Selfish.
And that she's like, you know, at the time of the murder, she's like, make it look like an accident.
Yeah.
Oh my God, that made Lowen like so much worse of a person right there.
Yeah, but she thought she was dealing with a
murderer,
a horrible woman who hated her kids and tried.
But see,
so it's like there's so much ambiguity.
Nobody has the right to make the choice about somebody else's life if they should live or die, right? Because clearly you never have all the information.
Clearly. Let this be a lesson to you.
Seriously.
Okay, before you commit any crimes, pump those brakes, okay?
Seriously.
You might find a letter on the floorboard 10 years from now and be like, damn, shouldn't have
killed
her.
I shouldn't have done that.
Guess I shouldn't have killed her. Oops.
Oh my God. Yeah.
Good book, though.
Very good.
Yeah. Good book.
I didn't want to put it down. Like you said, when you got to the parts of the autobiography, I'm like, oh my God, what else is she doing in this autobiography?
I was like skipping ahead. I'm like, when is that coming up again?
Yes.
So good.
And I was like, why is she not continuing to read that right now?
I
know. Because the author has to tell another story. Yep. I understand. I'm like, but keep reading.
Yeah.
I wouldn't have gone to bed without finishing that whole thing.
Yeah.
Stupid Lowen.
I know, right? Stupid Lowen.
God.
Oh, gosh.
So anyway, good one. I hope if you've watched this far, you've actually read the book and we didn't just spoil it all for you. So let us know what you think. How do you think this ending actually played out? Are you left feeling like vague like I am? Or are you sure it was one way or the other? I'm curious. I don't know what the common view is out there.
Yeah, I mean, I'm interested too. All right, well, we'll see. If you're enjoying Book Buds, give us a thumbs up.
And share us with your friends.
And subscribe to our channel, Book Buds!
Did you read this book? Let's chat about it.
Shake it. It's very sad that we're not drinking real wine.
I know.
Can't drink and drive.
That's right. All right.
Yeah, that's very yellow. Should I put one spot of red?
Yeah. We should have made a red wine. What's wrong with us? You have red right
like
there.
Blood.
That's true. Don't stay at their house.
but you know, I'm a grown woman. Don't tell me my business.
We should drink.
No.
Oh no.
Don't drink. That's
No,
not
like-
a picture.
Ready?
That says nothing about the book. This is only bloopers material. I'm not drinking food-colored water.
Congrats, man. You got a good job. I got it for you.
I don't know about that. Why are we celebrating? I don't like you, Corey. You shouldn't be touching me anymore.
I want to have sex with you again.
There's other sex to be had in this book.